Stop being cheap. That's what keeps you poor. James Capital. Picture this. You're standing in the aisle at Target or Walmart, staring at the coffee pods. Your brain kicks into autopilot. Why pay $5 for a decent Starbucks pod when I can get this generic pack for $1.50 that tastes like burnt rubber? Saving money is smart. Later that day, your friends text about grabbing dinner. You come up with an excuse because $40 to $50 is too much right now. So you stay home, stream something free with ads popping up every 10 minutes. At the end of the month, you open your banking app and see, basically, the same $300 to $400 sitting in checking that was there last month. And quietly, that little voice starts asking, I'm trying so hard to save every dollar, so why do I still feel broke? Now picture a different version of you. Same income, same bills, same opportunities. But this version grabs the $5 Starbucks pod because the taste actually makes the morning better. This version says yes to dinner with friends because good relationships are worth more than one night's tab. This version buys clothes that fit well and last, a laptop that doesn't crash every hour, tools that make work faster. And somehow, the account balance keeps climbing. Not because income suddenly tripled, but because you stopped being cheap. There is a massive difference between being smart with money and being cheap. And being cheap, not being frugal but genuinely cheap, is one of the single biggest things keeping millions of Americans stuck, even when they make decent money. My name is James. I spend way too much time thinking about money, human psychology, behavioral traps, identity shifts, and why some people with average incomes live like they're wealthy, while others with six-figure salaries always feel broke. If you're ready to look honestly at how the habit of being cheap is quietly stealing way more from you than you realize, stay with me. And if this video ends up shifting something for you, hit that like button and subscribe. It really helps the channel. Let's start with the myth almost everyone believes at some point. If I just cut every possible expense, I'll get rich. It sounds logical. Spend less equals keep more. But in real life, it works exactly the opposite. Here's why. Being cheap isn't about saving money. It's about skimping on yourself, on quality, on time, on opportunities, and ultimately, on future income. Let's look at how this plays out in everyday American life. You buy the $15 no-name earbuds on Amazon instead of decent ones for $80 to $120. 4 months later, they die. You buy another $15 pair. By the end of the year, you've spent $60 and dealt with constant frustration, terrible sound, and endless reconnecting. The person who bought AirPods or Sony WH-1000XM series for $100 to $150 spent the same amount or less after one purchase, and got great noise cancellation, clear calls, and zero headaches. Who actually saved? You go with the cheapest tires from Walmart because the $100 to $150 difference is a lot. Then you hit standing water on the highway, hydroplane, tap the guardrail. Repair bill comes to $2,500 to $4,000. The person who bought Michelin or Continental for $600 to $800 a set drove 4 seasons with zero issues. Who saved? You stick with the $30 basic internet plan instead of the $70 to $80 fiber or cable package. Zoom calls lag. Uploads take forever. You waste an extra hour a day waiting on files. You get irritated. Your work suffers. You save $480 in a year, but lose dozens of hours of productive time and potentially thousands in missed raises, freelance gigs, or promotions. Who saved? This is the core trap of cheap thinking. You only look at the sticker price, never at total cost of ownership, time cost, emotional cost, and opportunity cost. Now let's break down exactly how being cheap keeps you poor in the long run. Cheap thinking destroys your earning potential. When you train your brain to always choose the lowest price, you condition yourself to accept the minimum everywhere. That mindset leaks into your career. You take the first job offer because better something than nothing. You avoid asking for a raise or better benefits because they might get upset. You skip the $300 to $800 course on Coursera, Udemy, or a coding bootcamp because too expensive, even though it could realistically add $10,000 to $30,000 plus to your annual income. You skip paid networking events or industry conferences for $100 to $500 because why pay to talk to people? Meanwhile, the people who invest in themselves keep moving up, and you stay stuck. Cheap thinking steals your time. Cheap stuff breaks more often. Cheap services underperform. Cheap fixes need constant band-aids. You spend hours, days, weeks troubleshooting, returning items on Amazon, waiting on hold with customer support, driving to the store again. All that time could have gone to family, hobbies, friends, learning, or a side hustle on DoorDash, Upwork, or Etsy. Cheap thinking damages your relationships. You skip thoughtful gifts because it's not necessary. You turn down date nights at a nice restaurant because we can eat at home. You don't help a friend in a pinch because I'm tight on cash too. Over time, people start to feel like $20 to $50 matters more to you than the relationship. And strong relationships are one of the biggest accelerators of opportunity, support, and even money in the long run. Cheap thinking blocks opportunities. You skip the $400 to $600 conference where you could meet the person who offers you a job paying $30,000 to $50,000 more a year. You keep the slow $400 laptop instead of upgrading to a $1,200 to $1,500 MacBook or high-end Windows machine that lets you finish work twice as fast and take on more clients. You don't invest $1,000 to $3,000 in gear for a side hustle, camera, mic, software. Even though it could become your main income, you walk past chances because it's expensive. The person next to you says yes, and a year later, they're making 3 to 5 times more. Cheap thinking erodes self-respect. Every time you choose the cheapest option, you quietly tell yourself, I don't deserve better. You get used to living at the just enough to get by level. Over time, it becomes part of your identity. I'm not the kind of person who can afford quality. And when you see yourself that way, you stop reaching for more. Now the honest truth. There is a world of difference between smart frugality, consciously cutting what doesn't matter and redirecting money to what does, and cheapness, cutting corners on everything out of fear, habit, or pride in being clever. Smart frugality builds wealth. Cheapness destroys it, even when the spreadsheet says you're saving $50 to $100 a month. How do you break the cycle? Stop judging everything by sticker price. Always calculate total cost of ownership, plus time cost, plus emotional cost, plus opportunity cost. Ask yourself, if I already had $100,000, $500,000, $1 million in the bank, would I buy this? If yes, then the real issue isn't money, it's identity. Set a rule. 80% of spending goes toward quality, convenience, health, growth, joy. 20% goes toward maximum savings. Not the other way around. Intentionally pay more for things that save time, reduce stress, or bring real pleasure. The coffee you actually enjoy, clothes that make you feel sharp, gear that lasts, vacations that recharge you instead of stressing you out. Invest in yourself without guilt. Courses, books, coaching, equipment, good clothing, health. These are not expenses. These are the highest ROI investments you will ever make. Stop bragging about how little you spend. Start bragging about how intelligently you deploy your money. Here's the paradox. When you stop being cheap, you often end up spending less overall, not more. You buy once and keep it for years. You stop wasting money on replacements and repairs. You stop spending on cheap dopamine hits to compensate for feeling deprived. And the biggest shift of all, when you stop living cheap, you start attracting more money. Because you look, feel, and act like someone who is worth more. And the world has a funny way of matching your self-image. So stop being cheap. It's not saving you money. It's the most expensive habit you have. If this hit close to home, drop a comment. I've definitely been cheap. I'm starting to change. This is literally me. And if you want more breakdowns of the hidden mental traps keeping people broke, subscribe and turn on notifications. See you in the next one.